Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is me, Master Five, back with another video. Before I get started, I need you to give me the HBO special. That's the Help of the Hour special. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share if you like the content. Shout out to the Portman's Podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about determination. How to let your determination take over and get you in a better position overall. So I'll give you a story about what happened to me a little bit over a decade ago. It was a situation. I was living in the house of a relative of mine, and eventually this relative, I guess, wanted to sell the house and whatnot. So they gave me a time period of 3 to 4 months, or where they wanted me out and whatnot, which was fine. And under a month, this said family member ended up turning off the water and eventually the electricity of the home. And within a week, I was out. I just went and made it happen. I went and found somewhere to live at, paid rent, and I just moved on. But from that day forward, the fact that this person was able to have me in that position to begin with really ticked me off. Remember, I told you I'm trying to self-edit, so I'm trying to keep down the cussing. So it really ticked me off. And from that moment forward, I was 28 at the time. My goal was to get a house. I'm getting my own house because I never want to be in this position to ever have to rely on anyone again and end up in a situation like this. And for the next year and a half or so, I grind, worked as much overtime as possible. Like, we talking 70, 80 hours a week. I was grinding my rear end off. And I also had my cousin, she was my realtor at the time. I had her sending me lists of houses weekly. And I was just checking out houses consistently. And as my money, my savings increased, I had her increasing the list of the available housing and whatnot. And I would say within a year and a half of me buckling down, being angry at the situation that I was placed in, yet determined at the same time, because I allowed my anger. Now, mind you, it's not the best strategy for everybody, because like I said, I'm trying to learn how to control my anger and kind of eliminate it, But I allowed my anger to take my determination through the roof. And in that case, within a year and a half, I saved up a little over 20 grand. And I ended up finding the ideal house for myself. And I put in a bid for it, and I won it. So I paid $21,500 cash for my home. And I bought my house by the age of 30. At the age of 28, I was in a situation where somebody tried to nearly have me homeless. And by 30, I had cashed out my house at over $20,000. This does not include no tax money because I don't have children and whatever the case may be. I was simply determined and saved everything that I was working, making for, and working overtime, and really just being determined to never depend on no one again, because I didn't want to ever be in that position again. Anytime I needed something throughout my life before that moment, whenever I needed something, majority of people never had it. We talking about financial, even sometimes when I needed to talk, people wasn't even there to talk. So I just kind of made myself determined to not need pretty much anything from anyone. And with developing that mentality, it really pushed me to just try to put myself in any and all positions, especially financially, to not need anyone, so I can make sure I stand behind anything that I want to stand behind. Meaning, like, if I don't want to ever hop on the bus, well, if you don't want to ever catch yourself hopping on the bus, that means buy several vehicles and make sure that they all are up and running, up to par, and you know, no car notes, things of that nature. And especially when it came to talking and all that, I just kind of closed myself off to a lot of things and a lot of people, because so many people in my life were unreliable, to say the least. You know, it was one time I was sitting there having a conversation with a former friend of mine. Whatnot. We used to be cool, but we're no longer. We're at odds. But overall, I was just looking at everything around in my life, and I'm just like, dude, majority of people around me ain't never really did nothing for me. Like, seriously, like, majority of people around me ain't really did nothing for me. Like, haven't really helped me with anything. And his reply to that was, you're never in a position to need help with anything. Like, when it comes to money, you always stable. You got it. You're always in a position where you don't ask nobody for nothing. When it comes to so much other stuff, like, you never ask for advice. Every time we come around, you never need nothing from anyone. So it's like, how can anyone help you with anything? And it kind of threw me through a loop, like, yeah, you're right. He was right at that particular juncture. So whoever around, they can feel whatever way they want to feel about that. But majority of people in my life, through most of my life, have been a large, unreliable source of being able to get what I need from them in order to properly function through society. So I've felt always isolated the majority of my life. I've always been kind of a loner. I had friends and whatever, but I always felt isolated. So you always have to figure out how to live and function when you don't have a lot of people around to depend on. And it's just the way life goes, at least in my opinion. So determination is the word of today. You may not have to tap into it the way I have, especially utilizing anger, rage, and things of that nature. We'll just find some way to tap into it and allow it to lead you into greatness. And that's just today's word, determination. Allow your determination to lead you into greatness. So this is me, Masafai. Hope y'all liked the video, and y'all all have a great day. Peace.